Hello, everybody. I didn't see it. That was poorly acted. Hello, how are you all doing? I'm hoping very, very well. Welcome to the stream, where this is going to be another sort of loosey-goosey, unstructured thing in which we'll discuss various stuff that's come out today, including the interest in Beto. I think it's Beto. Leeds United are apparently looking at one of Everton's strikers, and we will also be looking at sort of wider transfer strategy stuff, because there's a little bit of that sort of roped and hooped into this article that I think could be of a little bit of interest, which could be quite fun. So, I'm going to start by saying hello to the chat, as always, but then we'll hop into the Beto stuff. Beto has to be some truth when it comes from Sky Sports. That's where I'm sort of feeling on it. I feel like there's got to be a little something behind it, because Sky Sports don't typically jump without having an actual idea of what's going on. They're one of the ones where if they say something, you can believe there's at least something to it. But in a timely joke, there's no white smoke on that one yet. Shut up, me. I hate me. God, why am I doing this? 1 second. Hi, Joe. I thought Chris was on today. That will be tomorrow. There was a work thing that popped up that needed to be dealt with, but that will be tomorrow at the same time, so probably noon. You should all smash like and subscribe. That'd be massively appreciated. Oh, is that not on Amazon? That's painful. Well, time to use Meta's own subscription. Right, there are a lot of how are you doing to absolutely everyone. Potato, turnip, evening both. There's me, there's one. Trust we're good. Beto is going to be a topic of conversation. It's going pretty well. Good evening, CB. Hello, Knuten. And good evening, Jurdtt. That's what I'm going to go with. Not JRDDT. DTT. It's going to be Jurdtt. It's going to be great. So, going to talk about the Beto thing first, because it's all wrapping into one article. And it also wraps into a video that I've got coming out tomorrow morning, which I think is quite good, and it's very, very related. So it could be quite good. But Leeds are apparently considering a surprise move for Everton striker Beto. This is going to be me reading from the Sky Sports article for a couple of minutes, just to make sure that everyone's caught up on what the news is. Very fun thing as well. The video I put out this morning that was like, look, this is what's going on with the stadium. A guy was like, I could just read the presentation myself. And it's like, okay, go and do that. But like, I'm trying to add a little bit more context. I'm trying to skip the bits that don't matter. It's fine. But whatever. Hope Leeds don't get better. He's shite. I don't think he is. I think he's in the wrong team at the minute, but we'll get into that a little bit of conversation a little bit later on. But Leeds considering surprise move for Everton striker Beto as they look to try and strengthen their squad and cement newly secured Premier League status. That bit is fairly obvious. It's going to be try and improve the squad, see what happens. All good. However, an interesting little aspect to consider is that Sky Sports News has been told Leeds have a potential transfer kitty worth more than £100 million to spend across their new signings. Such is the level of their ambition to remain in the top tier. Now, having seen this, I thought it's quite big, but it does sort of make sense considering the number of positions that we need to go for, the quality of player that we need in those positions, and also the players that we'll have on the way out. So Harrison will be on the way out. We'll have Voba probably on the way out. Bamford is probably leaving, as sad as it makes me. Gelhardt, I can see going. A hell of a lot of players to consider that will be on the way out of the side that you've got to sort of add up and think, where's that going to end up? And that does end up at £100 million, maybe more, who knows. But it goes on to say, any deal for Beto would make a significant dent in that budget. He cost Everton more than £20 million 2 years ago, still has 2 years left on his contract. However, having 2 years left on his contract means that now is the time they need to make a decision. Moyes has been doing a little bit of a rebuild kind of thing recently over there, which makes sense. But A, he's going to need funds to do that, because although Everton are under new ownership, they've still got PSR stuff going on. And B, whether or not Beto's at the heart of that is a big question mark. By the way, like yesterday, got the Champions League up on the second monitor. I might do something watch-along flavoured for the playoffs tomorrow. I've not decided quite yet, but we'll have to see. Maybe just the second half. Unsure. But if you see me glancing over this way and going, ooh, oh, ah, it's PSG Arsenal stuff. Everton's joint leading top scorer this season, 7 goals, 27 appearances, etc., etc. Big summer window for Everton because they've got a hell of a lot of stuff to do. They are losing 15 players next month, including Jack Harrison. If they want to make that permanent, that would be fantastic for us. We could even use him as like a bargaining chip in this, but who knows? They're also taking on Angus Kinnear, which could make things a little bit zesty. But yeah, there was also the further bit on transfer strategy that I thought was quite interesting. Specifically, that has given Leeds' interest in Beto a boost, with a striker one of their priority positions in this next transfer window. We know this because Patrick Bamford is probably on the way out. Piru, we don't know, is a Premier League number 9. Mateo isn't there yet. We need someone that can start at number 9. I didn't know Arsenal did long throw-ins. What a save. And yeah, it sort of makes sense to get a new number 9 in, but beyond that, they'll want, according to this, goalkeeper, centre-back, centre-mid, centre-forward. Also potentially new fullbacks and a right winger, depending on priority targets. I'm not sure where I stand on the right winger thing. That feels weird, because we've got Dan James that can play out there. Sure, great. All the others prefer the left-hand side, but I don't know if you get someone in that takes the place of Dan James. I think that is a very, very difficult little bit of the conversation to have. But who knows? It's complicated. And I also noted that they're willing to spend as much as £30 million on each of these positions, as well as looking for fullbacks. So spending big on the key positions is going to be huge for us this summer. Because if we're able to get good quality players in throughout that spine of the team, so specifically goalkeeper will be key because a goalkeeper can make a big difference to you. Centre-back, we all know that matters. Centre midfielder, there's a little something coming on that tomorrow morning that I'm not going to discuss right now, but that could be quite interesting. And yeah, it's an interesting one. Then Parag says wants to become one of the best clubs in Europe, all that kind of stuff. And there's not too much more on transfer strategy, but you very much get the feeling that the 49ers are going to go hard on this window. And the more financial effort that they throw towards this, the better. Because the more solid we are coming out of the summer window, the more solid we will be coming out of the following summer windows, and everything will be fine. Everything will be great. Everything will be good. Gonna have a quick dive through the comments. Hello, Joe. It's going to be very busy, hopefully, because they know we got money. The prices don't go up. I don't think the prices will go up because they know we've got money. I think the prices will go up because Premier League tax. I think that's the issue that we'll have to come up against. It's not an issue that we exclusively will have to deal with, but clubs in the Premier League, as a rule of thumb, will pay more for their players. Purely because every other top division across Europe is like, oh, that's where all the money is. If you're going to take our player, then you got to give us the money, which is a completely fair enough thing, you know. Beto could be a decent signing as Piru isn't really playing that well. Golden Boat is my main thought on that. I do think we need a 9 because I don't know if Piru's profile works in the Premier League. I would rather someone that has like the number 90 movement than Piru's current like sitting a little bit deeper, which just isn't like the style that I'm after. But it's less a question of the quality of Piru and more a question of the style of Piru for me. Beto64 haven't we wanted a tall striker? We have, but I'm not convinced that tall is the be all and end all. Like, A, we need to get our corners to get past the first man in the first place. But B, I want the profile of play style of striker more than anything else as the priority. So in terms of height, I could not be that bothered, to be honest with you. Swap Bamford for Beto. Yeah, I mean, if Everton will take it, sure. If Angus is especially attached to Pat Bamford, then we can maybe make that happen, but that feels unlikely. Tether Joe was on earlier saying we've got PSR issues. I wouldn't say they're issues. I'm going to do an explainer video on it at some point, I think. I don't know when, but I will do a video explanation of why PSR isn't looking too friendly right now. I don't think we're in that much trouble, considering the amount of selling we did last summer that isn't in the accounts yet. So it'll come out for the accounts for this season, which won't come out until next April. At which point we'll see, oh, cool, we made a lot of money that summer. And then that, I think, clears up a lot of the potential PSR issues. It's more the limits are tighter than we would like them to be. Big, strong, excellent at Udinese when playing in the right system. This is where I sort of sit on it. A lot of people will point to his time at Everton and say, look, he can't do it in the Premier League. Serie A is not an easy league either. And if we have a look at his numbers, non-penalty goals per 90, he's in the top 24% for all forwards. He gets a goal every other game. That's roughly what you want them to do. But in Serie A, 21-22, he played how many 90s? 24 90s, scored 11. In 22-23, 23 90s, scored 10. And then this season, he's played 14 90s, he's scored 7. He's not that much of a key player at Everton this season. Like, he's started 12 times. He's admittedly gotten a lot of appearances, 27. But it's more a question of, does that make him more disposable? The fact that he isn't starting so much for them. And I think if it does, we can absolutely be all over that, because I think he's a genuinely very good player. Like, 50% shot accuracy from 40 shots is very nice. And it's the sort of like clinicality. I don't know. The ability to be clinical that we need. Dr. Cox reckons Joseph will be sold. I'm not too sure on that. I think there's potential value to be gained from him. I think the £10 million bid that happened in January, that did happen, which is as surprising as it is to me as everyone else. But for me, I wouldn't want to sell him just because I know there's a player in there. There will be a player in there. I think loan is better than sale for us this coming summer. Anything in the Greek right back? I don't know. I can't think of any Greek right backs off the top of my head. I know someone mentioned Kostas Tsimikas recently, but he's a left back. So unless you mean him or someone else, I'm not entirely sure. Solomon in would be absolutely ideal. Dr. Cox also thinks we need 6. CB thinks Solomon first signing. I've not seen the Strauch thing anywhere, Wayne, so you might need to... Yeah, I know I've seen rumours of Spurs being interested in signing Strauch, but I've not seen anything about Pascal Strauch himself pushing for that move. Start with the T's, no kit, no midfielder. Look, I'm doing the kit reveal, just not yet. And I'm not going to get too talky about the midfielder when I've got a video coming out in the morning, because if I've got a video coming out in the morning and I say what's going on with the midfielder thing now, you won't watch the video in the morning. So, I mean, this is where we're at. It's supply and demand. If I do too much supply, then there's only so much demand, and you'll only be like, oh, I'll watch this one. And then the YouTube algorithm hates you, and stinky on phone bad. Jaden Bogle. What's his goal record at Everton? Not very good. This season, genuinely, not awful. He's Everton's top scorer, having only played 14 90s. So I think it could be okay. I do think Red Bull will put a little bit more money in. I think they'll have to anyway, because the commercial deal will increase in value. But we'll have to find out, is all I can really say on that one. Hard to say. Every time we got money, someone has to explain PSR. Not having a pop at you, Joe, but it's annoying as fuck. I know, but it's because it's a stupid rule. And it's a rule that changes depending on the league that you're in, all that kind of stuff. And it's daft. Like, the fact that League One doesn't have any form of PSR, therefore Wrexham are going to come up and like probably be spending way more than they're allowed instantly, is bizarre. I don't understand it. Clinical edge, I will take. I think we'll smash the window. Hey, I like it. There's a breaking the glass joke here somewhere, but I can't find it. We have all this money, but we're restricted. It's like having a Lamborghini, but you can only go 70 because of speed cameras. Yeah, this is roughly where we're at. But at least we're putting the money into like useful places, like the stadium, which is good. Panathinaikos' right back, Georgios Vagianidis. Why do I feel like you've just tried to make me say vagina? It's all right, PSG hit the post. That was close. Won't be able to watch the video in the morning, tell us now. But will you not be here in the afternoon? Because the video will still be there. I will give you the name and I'll tell you that it's Nicholas Raskin. But I've got a lot more details in the video. So head over and watch. It's great. Hello, Lee. Settle in. Have a nice time. It'll be a good vibe. We always like it. Teasing us and tempting us into watching tomorrow. It is indeed. That's kind of the point. That's the goal. That's why we do this. We'll make a Jaden Bogle edit. Would you watch it? I probably. Yeah. He's ungainly and awkward bugger to play against given his build, height, and strength. After a slow start under Dyche, he's starting to look the part under Moyes coming to terms with the Premier League. Yeah. So this is where I'm sort of sat on it. The fact that he didn't look too good under Dyche isn't necessarily representative because no one in that team was good under Dyche. It wasn't especially good. Admittedly, he's been starting a fair bit more recently. So in terms of the last 5 games he played, against Arsenal, Forest, City, Chelsea, Ipswich, started 3 of those. Didn't play a full 90 in any of them, which is a little bit weird. Last time he played a full 90 minutes was start of March against Wolves. But I think there's definitely a player there, and there's a player that we can maybe do quite well with. Sol Joseph, 15 to 20 will help PSR. It will, but it depends on if that is at all feasible. It's quite hard to say. One quick second. How are we all doing? I'm doing pretty good, Dr. Cox. How are you doing? I'm hoping well. If remove sentiment and favourites replaced with quality, we'll go far with the right players. That's the weird thing, though, right? Because, like, at what point do you exchange the word sentiment for preference? Because people have different opinions on different players. So I was having this very conversation in the Credit Cup group chat earlier, in which we were discussing Brendan Aronson in general. And for me, I think Aronson has had a good enough season this year. He's proven that he can fit in with the style of the squad to say, at the very least, he can be a bench player next season. Because I think there is a very, very good player in there. And the fact that he didn't look great under Jesse Marsch should not be some like weight that is hanging over him, because no one looked good under Jesse Marsch. Quite similar. One second. Okay, cool. There we go. How much do you reckon we have in the transfer budget? I reckon it's going to be a starting base of about 100 million. That's what we did when we came up last time round. I think we'll do a couple of sales on top of that, but you can't be 100% sure. Good evening. 100 million, don't think there'll be enough to bring quality in. I hope I'm wrong, though. In response to that, all I have to particularly say is Outanaka was £3.4 million. You can get good quality players. You just need to find them. And it's not easy. Like, I understand that. And if you want Premier League proven players, obviously you need to pay a little bit more. But if you're looking at the amount spent on the players that are currently in our squad, such as a Gruev, such as a Tanaka, Ampadu, you're not breaking the bank. And I think a couple of those players can make it in the Premier League. So you're like, combine all of the sort of incoming decent players that we've got at the moment, you're probably looking, what, mid £30 million? If you're saying with triple the budget, we can't find slightly better players, then I think it's a tough one. I think 100 million is probably enough, but we'll also be selling a few players. Like Voba, I cannot see sticking around. Harrison will be sold. It's as Wayne's saying here. If you spend it wisely, you've got the right players in the right positions, and everything turns out okay. It's just about being in the position to do that first. Harrison can be part of a swap deal for better. Great deal for both as Moyes wants to keep him. I don't know if Moyes does want to keep him because Harrison has not been doing much at Everton. I'll have a quick look at his record. Harrison has scored once all season. 31 appearances, but I'm going to have a look at how many starts that includes because I don't think it's tons. No, fair enough. Started against Wolves, West Ham, Liverpool, Arsenal, Forest, City, Chelsea. Didn't start against Ipswich, which is interesting. Who played in his place? Alcaraz started. Dwight McNeil. Okay. I don't see him keeping Dwight McNeil out of the side, which means that we may have to find a different move for Jack Harrison, or he might just be going there as depth, but I don't see us keeping him. He will go somewhere. What we can't do is destroy the mentality of the group. We need to be together next year. Yeah, this is another reason I don't want to go like overboard in terms of the signings. The reason that like squad refresh is fine, but the issue starts to sneak in when it gets to be more than a refresh of the squad and it's sort of a purge, because then you've not got that like togetherness with everyone. That I think is the bigger risk here. So if you just say like everyone piss off, we'll buy a whole new squad, you've got no like chemistry in there. But it's tricky. At what point do we stop selling our best young players? Until we can do that, we'll go nowhere. Been happening since Milner. Better if I don't know though, because it depends on situation. It depends on the amount of money you get in. So nobody would doubt that our squad, the season that just happened, was better at getting the job done than the squad the season before. But a significant proportion of that was funded by selling our best young players, Somerville, Archie. And this coming window will be equally funded by the sale of Archie, because that is still to roll over in terms of PSR and Somerville and Ruter. So whilst we're saying, like, at what point do we stop selling our best young players, there isn't that point. That point doesn't exist. Like, maybe you can make the argument that that happens, like, when we qualify for Europe or something. But even then, there's going to be big old fish in that pond. So I think it's more a case of at what point do we not need to sell our best young players? And I'll be honest, this summer we don't need to do that. This summer we're fine. It's just about building that solid foundation so you're in a good enough position in the Premier League to think we can bring through young players without it being a risk. Because last time we were in the Premier League, our own like homegrown young players didn't get that. That was a fun set of hiccups. Didn't get that much in terms of minutes. But that was because there was always that looming risk of relegation. Whereas if we're able to build that foundation, stay up there for a few years and think, right, okay, we're not in relegation battles, let's bring through the grey that comes after Harry. Or who's the other lad in the under-18s? We've got a really, really good forward in the under-18s, and I can't remember his name. Either way, you know what I mean. Yeah, I mean, players can be cheap if you look in the right places. And I do think that budget is probably enough to stay up. It doesn't matter that much about manager. It's about the players. Look at Ipswich. Good manager didn't keep them up. It's about both, to be honest. Because you say that it doesn't matter about the manager. So many people will point at Bielsa and say he's the reason those players were able to come ninth in the Premier League. And that's true. But at the same time, if he had any different players, they wouldn't be developing into that position in the first place. So it's both. It's finding the right balance. 100 with sales and good use of the free agent and loan market will be fine. Yeah, we need to, like, as much as we're in the Premier League now, a lot of people will sort of like shun the idea of loans. Can't go doing that. That would be a risk in itself, because there's a lot of quality to be had on loan from, especially if you're like looking at Chelsea. Look at the number of players Chelsea have. Too many, and they can't register all of them. So sneak in, a couple of them on loan, Bournemouth are doing pretty damn well out of having Kepa, for example, and then you work from there. But in terms of, yeah, we need to not be afraid of using the loan market. I think free agents is tougher because in terms of high quality free agents, there's not lots because the best free agents tend to already be signed. But we'll find out. This is it as well. Like, what a fucking finish that is. Is that Fabian? PSG are leading. But there is this, like Ipswich spent a lot of money, but they spent it on the wrong people. So as much as you might say, like, it might not be enough of a budget, it might be fine. Because you've seen that clubs with massive budgets just spend in the wrong ways. And that causes its own little problem. Apparently there's a 65 million cap till you get to the third season, and there's a 105 million cap. If true, nobody's getting a chance. No, not quite true. Do I do a video on this? Because I need to do a bit of research on it. Right. And I'll see what you guys are thinking. And whilst I'm creating said poll, can you guys do me a favor and pop a like on the stream? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Right. Do a video covering PSR and how it affects Leeds this summer. Yes or no? There we go. All right, I'm going to do a very, very quick read to catch up. So if I skip over some comments, I apologize. I don't like getting stuck behind, but at the same time, I don't like being in a position where I'm like, I will read every single comment, and I'm here for 4 hours. But yeah, I hope you're feeling okay soon, Dr. Cox. Earlier indication shows that we're going to retain more driftwood than decent incomings. How do you mean? And 100 million is not a drop in the ocean. 100 million is roughly what we spent when we came up under Bielsa, and that was enough to get us 9th. So I think calling it a drop in the ocean is a stretch, to say the very least. Harrison to MLS makes a lot of sense to me. Moise said he wants him, he likes him. Does he? Time we get Google him. Sorry, I gotta read this for a second. Oh, good stop, Raya. Moyes likes Harrison's attitude and seems open to him staying. I don't know. I mean, he's burned many bridges. He won't be coming back to Leeds. That's all that really counts at the moment. Who would be your first signing? Solomon. Immediately. Then it becomes complicated. Someone to play as a 10. Probably a shout. But ideally you want to build out the positions that you need the most first, but as I will cover in the video in the morning, a lot of the time you can't just do those first because that's not how things land. I'm not sure Beto's right for us. I think he can be. I think he's got the right sort of energy for it. I hope we've enough because we're Premier League now. We've got to compete with the best of the best. I know we're back up, but we won't want to stay there and hopefully be like Nottingham Forest. I would like to stay there, be like Nottingham Forest, but do so by following the rules would be ideal. Right, I'm going to scroll down a little bit further. Sorry, guys. I've just seen a mess about cheese, but that's nice. If we can find bargains in the transfer market where they can recruit for a low outlay like they did with Tanaka and Largy, the club has shown they're capable of imaginative transfers. We are. And it's why when people, I don't know if I trust Daniel Farke with all the money that it'll take when we go up. Have a look at the current squad and listen to the fact that everyone that says that I just said about not trusting Daniel Farke with all the money, look at who built that squad. It's Daniel Farke. But you're also saying that the squad is really good and Daniel Farke needs to get promoted. You're giving him the credit without realising it. Saw something about Gray's fee added to this year's budget, not last year's. I'm not sure where that landed on FFP. But either way, there's a lot of money of like PSR space available for Leeds United. Need to get some ones like McAtee. I don't know if he'll be out on loan. I remember Pep said something along the lines of he regretted not playing him more earlier in the season because he turned into such a like strong asset for City towards the end of the season. Need to find a couple of Rafinha, sell them for 100 million each. We can build and establish. I feel like if you're saying we need 200 million pounds, we're already a little bit scuffed in that instance. Your father figure managers still prevalent in the Premier League? What do you mean father figure managers? I'm confused more than anything. Free agents are players like Vardy not good enough. I wouldn't get Vardy, that's for sure. Brownhill is interesting. I don't know if Josh Brownhill's signing a new contract at Burnley, but I'd be very tempted by that, to be honest with you. Ipswich preparing for a return to the Championship. I genuinely think so. I think their idea was we'll go up. If we can stay up, fantastic. If we can't, we've got the best of the Champo, so we'll bounce back up again. But that relies on them holding on to what they've got now, which is a little bit of a risk. I would take Dennis Mann every day of the week, but you guys know this already. Buy lesser but better players instead of cheap and worse. Yeah, I mean, it's like there's a subreddit and it's called Buy It for Life, and it's just like a bunch of like brands that are like really good quality stuff. That is like if you get this, fantastic. You've paid a bit more, but it's really good. That's what we kind of need in terms of signings. I don't think I would be open to Somerville returning because I think we've seen over the last year we're so much better balanced without Somerville in the side. Somerville unbalanced us quite hard, and I feel like him returning wouldn't fix it. And there's other better names around anyway. Like there's better places to look. Farke said earlier in the season that Leeds have signed players that no other clubs are willing to take a chance on, so maybe they're looking at players that are not on the radar of other clubs. Perhaps, yeah. Thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate that. Standard with teams going up from the Championship will need more than that to bridge the gap. I don't know. I think we've got one of the strongest squads to come out of the Championship in a while. Plus, and I say this like Leicester City last season had a very, very good squad. Don't get me wrong. But they had to immediately sell Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, which broke the squad. And I think if we're able to keep this squad together, we're not going to be in a bad place to begin with. And then you just keep on building from there, and things are looking good, and things are feeling confident, and yeah, we're heading in the right direction, you know? Free agents, Ben Davis and Soufal from West Ham, fullback and left side of centre half, cover sorted. Maybe. Unconvinced. The reason I'm not super convinced on specifically Soufal, if I remember right, I'm going to have to double check this. Yes. West Ham are currently sitting 17th in the league. They are hovering above the relegation zone. If the bottom three were any good this season, they would potentially be down. And yet, he's only started 9 matches for them. So I think Soufal would be too much of a risk for me, I think. 100 million is one Chelsea type marquee signing. Yes, but Chelsea is stupid with their money. That's like them spending the amounts of money that they spend on their players does not mean that we need to spend the same amount of money on an equivalent player. Manchester United spent like 100 million pounds on Paul Pogba, and he did very little. You're not going to say a central midfielder for Leeds United is going to cost 100 million pounds. Like the average Premier League transfer ain't that big. It's big, but it ain't that big, and I think that's what counts for me. I'm playing with Return on FIFA recently. Oh, I miss him so much. I don't believe Ward-Prowse is a 10. He's more of an 8, and he's also an 8 that's sort of losing his legs. In fact, where is he now? Where are you, James Ward-Prowse? Has he gone back to Southampton? Forest? What? Okay, apparently he's at Forest now. But he's not getting into their side, which makes it even more complex. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't go James Ward-Prowse, to be honest with you. In part because I just don't like him. I don't know why. I just don't. Thank you very much, Evie. Smash a like and subscribe. I love that Evie can do that in the comments of someone else's video, but when she's doing her own like video stuff, she just can't. Also, if you're not a channel member, do that because I've already got a little bonus video out for people, and I'll be doing more of those as things go onwards. If you come for 5 glasses of wine, I know that yesterday I think she was 4 pints deep at one point, and that's pints of wine. So who knows? It's a good question. I don't think we'll sell Gruev. I think Gruev sticks around, which would be quite nice. Jesus. We've got, what's the gal equivalent of a bromance? I don't know, but we've got one of those. Relation cis? That's what I'll go with. Relation cis. Is there a player from the championship you'd buy? Not I would buy, but there is a player. Well, define from the championship, because if we're including teams that got promoted, I would be all over Brownhill like that on a free, and I would probably also go for Trafford. But I don't know if we're having the promoted teams. West Ham have to sell to be able to buy. I didn't know. Oh, wait, I did know that. Because I've had a chat with someone about West Ham's finances. Yes, they're not looking very good at the moment. So that's going to be exciting. Is Great Cup organisation all sorted now and ready to go? All sorted is a big word. Currently, I'm in the process of making sure that various sponsors and stuff are paying things. If anyone else wants to sponsor the Creator Cup, by the way, go ahead and do that. That'd be a great time, and I would massively appreciate it. And I've got a new package thing that I thought of as well. It's real good, but it should be good. No, the organisation will not be done until after the event. Even then, like, there are a lot of things that go into this thing, which can be found at leedscreatorcup.com. Thank you very much. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this. That I don't think will be done until everything is done. So, I don't know. I love that you put Hockaday on the list. We need a free kick specialist, not a once and seeing heart. Rafinha is my counterpoint. Rafinha was excellent at free kicks, and you might not see him as like a free kick specialist because he did different things, but like, I don't know, it's complicated. How will the sale from last summer affect Leeds PSR? It will help us because we also didn't spend too much this summer. Well, last summer. How does signing a free agent affect PSR with no actual transfer fee? I believe agent fees and wages are the cost in that specific instance, but I'm not certain. Who buys Malier from Leeds? Because I'm not going to be rude to Elan, because it's pointless at this point, isn't it? Like, he's been part of 2 promotions. I want to give him a little bit of credit. I would guess a side in France would be my stab in the dark. I wouldn't see a championship side doing it. I saw someone mentioning Leicester, but that feels like that's not true. That'd be a weird one. It's just an open love affair, I noticed. Is there a bar on at the Creators Cup? There is potentially a bar on at the Creator Cup. If Wayne is still here, we will be having more conversations around that soon. It all sort of comes down to the venue getting back to me on a bunch of questions that I've got, but it would be ideal. I hate you. No, that's too hot for me. Like, once you hit anything above like 20, I'm just like, no, I'm done. Put me in a fridge, please. Yeah. How about fitness odds from Borough as a 10? I'm not super tempted by him. I got to be honest with you. Trapper going to a top 16, Burnley and not Salters. Oh, I know that for a fact. But the question wasn't that is realistic. The question was not who would you have. Vinny Souza as well. I quite like Vinny Souza, but I can't see us getting a player from Sheffield United, given the everything. I don't think they go up though. I think Sheffield United like fail in the playoffs. It'd be interesting to see. This is the donation link, by the way, and this is the ticket link. So go ahead and do that. That'd be really nice. Especially tickets, because it's good to have an idea of how many people can be there on the day, so I can organize like safety things and stewarding things. So buying early saves me a job. Thank you. What games are we looking at getting? I don't know quite yet. A little bit of me thinks that one of the many Chelsea nearly loanable keepers would be on the list. Like maybe a Slanina or someone, but who knows? In the words of Ilan Mele, je ne sais pas. Fan Davidozi, yes. Yeah, if we're able to put a bar on, it will be not one of the Leeds City Council ones, is the thinking at the moment. Because that would be expensive. And I would need to get sponsors to do more things. And by do more things, I mean do more money, which is difficult. Is Trippier still at Newcastle? It'd be a class signing. Isn't he 1,000 years old? Let's have a look. Kieran Trippier is currently 34 and is starting relatively often for Newcastle. So it'd be nice if he wasn't that old. I don't know. Seen anyone in the German leagues that could be a good punt? I do remember seeing someone, and I've completely forgotten his name. There is one guy, not from the German leagues, but from Ligue 1, that I was quite interested in. Cooper, I'd sign. Cooper's not a bad shout. No. I have very explicitly in the big group chat said no one is allowed a pint on the day until you are either off for the final time or the full-time whistle is blown. Either of those, but we'll see. We'll see. What would you take? 2 23-year-old Zidans for 100 million, or 5 guesswork Forshaw types? Adam Forshaw costs us £4 million, so it's like 25 guesswork types. Or if we're going to 95, it's 23.3. No, 23.75 guesswork Forshaws. So I mean, I don't mind like the slightly younger players. Like it's fine. Also, I think Miles Skelly just ate a kidney shot, which is a bit of a shame. Joe calling 34 old. In football terms, it is. Like, typically you're retiring between, like, 36 and 38. And even that's on the older side. So he's not the sort of player that you'd want to go for. Yes, this is the name of the bar. My apologies. Wise decision not to buy in the January window, unlike Burnley, who have been obliged to sign Edwards as well as Jadon Anthony, and Sheffield United spent 10 million on Cannon, means they have less funding to spend. Indeed. Marcus Edwards is not a bad signing, just to be like totally clear on that. I would not have minded Marcus Edwards at Leeds. Admittedly, it's not doable now, but he's a genuinely very decent player. Also not fine. Firm rule. And I'm going to be nice and kind and treat everyone equally, as is good to do. And this is this might annoy someone in the chat. Commentators are also having to follow the drinking rule. I'm sorry. And that includes, like, ideally voluntary people that are doing important jobs, please. Thank you. Harrison Melia, Gelhardt, Greenwood, Voba, also Rasmus Money, and I can see maybe as private Nonto or Joseph. Nonto I can see being feasible, but I don't know. I'm not 100% certain. If Sunderland don't go up, I'd love Chris Rigg. Chris Rigg would be a very good shout. I think Sunderland have a decent shot at going up, but I feel like it's very difficult for them. Sheffield United, I don't see doing it, just because of the situation that they're in at the minute. Like, I think bottling automatics that hard will put them in the same situation as we were in, where you just end up like not managing it. But we'll see. I think loan to buy could be a good route, especially for a keeper and defenders. I'm not sure. I think just buy for safety. I don't know what you mean, and that scares me. Sorry, baby old. Oh, is this the Adama Traore thing? I don't see that one happening, to be honest with you. We've already got Dan James. Yeah, you got a point. No, no pint. No pints of wine. Uh, bargains out there to be had. Look at Murillo from Corinthians. There's plenty of bargains. There's plenty of good footballers around. And a lot of people just get stuck paying attention to the players that are already in the Premier League. But they came to the Premier League from somewhere, for the most part, rather than just through academies. So that's where we need to be going, I think. Don't you dare. Fun fact, for some vlog stuff, I was planning on popping this little crap webcam up in the commentary box, so I will see the ginnings. I've got my eyes on you. No shenanigans. Thoughts on Murray, Hutchinson, or Sarmiento? Sarmiento, I think, is a better shout than Hutchinson, but both of them, I think, probably not for me. They'd be expensive. I don't think they'd fit. It hard to say. I'm getting very tempted to do like a watch-along styley thing for the playoffs. I know I don't do watch-alongs, but it'd be very chill, quite calm. Don't go to a live stream charity event then. It's that simple. Nick Hammond going, do Leeds have a recruiting team to take over, or is recruiting down to one person at the club? I think there will still be a recruiting team. There'll still be scouts and everything. I can't remember the name of the guy that's taken over from Nick Hammond, but someone has done that. Someone is doing the chief recruitment-y thing. So we'll have to find out. Can't have Sunderland going well in the playoffs. Farm falling off a cliff, at least Sheffield United won a few times recently. I genuinely think Bristol City do it. That's where I'm leaning. I mean, it's your choice. If you hate charity, then you hate charity. People need not to get hung up on how much we spend, but how well. Yeah, that's where I'm at. The amount you spend does not correlate with how successful you are. Fun fact, by the way, if you want to judge the ability of a footballer, and this is like a statistically proven thing, look at wage bills rather than transfer budget. Because the higher a club's wage bill, the better they will do. It's like a statistically proven thing. It's great. I love it. Blades, I think, are nailed on. I disagree. I really don't think that they've got it. So many fans think the more money you spend, the better quality player you'll get. Sometimes it's like that, but not all of them. Yeah, I mean, think of how much Scum spent on Anthony, and think of how much we spent on Rafinha. Two Brazilian wingers bought from France and the Netherlands, respectively. Who was the better player? It was Rafinha. I will never take my eyes off Rafinha. You know this. I'll be one quick second. I'm going to put on one of the filler videos in the background, but I will be back within like a minute. So one moment. If it wants to play, I can't see it. There we go. I'm back. Hello, amigos. Sorry about that. That was fun. I needed to just sort an emergency thing and find some news. Just Kayla's done good and I think it's great. Anyway, where were we? Hidden gems. Trust we can find them. We can hear you. Oh dear. Drinks and tap. I should have muted myself realistically, shouldn't I? Last year we were preparing for the place. Everyone's on the floor, missing out on automatic promotion. Rare good time to be a Leeds supporter. It's a brilliant time to be a Leeds fan. Can we remember all the teams that did business in January and we didn't? Where are they now? This is why I'm feeling happy right now, because we did good. We made the right choice, and I can be happy with it. Yes, that would be Kayla. But I don't believe I'm allowed to say what it is because I think it's like an under embargo thing. We'll also have access to Red Bull Scouting. 49ers will have been preparing for this situation for the last 3 months, and I'm sure they have a big book of targets. Sound like Big Jack there. There will be many, many, many targets. We will know what we are looking for in each position, and it will be a case of, for the most looked at player in X position, go for it. And if they're not available, the next one. Then if they're not available, the next one. And you do that in each position, and you end up with a very, very, very good-looking squad, and you end up very happy with it. The team which just sneaks into the final playoff place are at a much better advantage. Maybe. I think, I don't know, it'd be, like was mentioned, it would be nice to have a Yorkshire derby, but it would be funny if Sheffield United didn't do it. You know? That'd be great. There's a bar on Leeds Creator Cup. Will there be a what? I don't know. Earn to go into the Club World Cup. I believe they are. I should know this because I'm working on the Club World Cup, but I'm fairly sure they are. Or have I been confused by Inter Miami being there? No, Inter are there. There's 2 different Inters. That makes sense. I think 100 million is fine. Again, we did it last time. We'll be all right. I reckon they've sounded out a number of signings already. Has Prague said they've been planning this for 6 months? They will have been planning this for a long time. And there's like a couple of names, like Nico Elvedi, that we were very, very interested in January, only wanted to come to a Premier League club. Well, look at what's happening now. Julian Weigl also wanted to come to a Premier League club, was interested in a move. Daniel Farke likes him. This is the pre-planning that we've been doing, and this is why I'm quite happy with it. Would you mind opining on my theory above that I posted whilst you were away? I can try, if I can find it. My theory, we need a goalkeeper, yes. Centre-back, probably. Left-back, depends on Firpo, but also probably. Centre-mid, yes. 10 and 9, yeah, probably. 2 or 3 frees, like Region Decore, and a couple of loans, then a couple of big money signings. Lose Byram, Gilavogi, Meslier, loan Joseph, keep the rest. I think we'll have more out, because we've also got Voba to leave. But that sounds sane. I think we do a little bit more in terms of actual signings than you've expected. I'm not too sure we lean that heavily on frees. But transfer window opens on the 1st until the 10th and then reopens on the 16th till the 1st. Yes, that is because of the Club World Cup. And I believe that this is a case of they wanted to make Real Madrid happy, because they're very much looking at Trent Alexander-Arnold and going, quite like him for the Club World Cup. So they're thinking, maybe if we can get something to happen between us and Liverpool in that time, fantastic, we can register him for the Club World Cup. Which would make sense, because Liverpool gets some money for a player that is not going to play any other games for them. Rational. but who knows? Watch your video on the Ellen Road build. Can you clarify they're keeping and just refurbishing the bottom of the north stand, and therefore building a new section on top, or is it full build? They're keeping sort of the base of it. Like they will be doing work on it to improve it, obviously, but they're building the rest of the north stand on top of what is existing, rather than knock everything down, build everything up again. As far as I'm aware, I might have read it wrong, but that's what I believe is the plan. Would you go in for Haim? No, I wouldn't, because he is a lazy, petulant man, and I don't like him very much. Bus Tour makes me so happy. I've watched it so many times. I think I'm more in love with the squad than I already was. Fantastic. I do have a bunch of videos from the bus parade. I was going to do a vlog. My brain went, you want to go home now. So I didn't get to do it in like vlog format, but I'm considering putting it out as like a members thing. I'm not sure. I'll decide. We'll see. Very simple to survive. We get rid of the worst 9 players in the first team squad and buy 9 better players than what's left. Thing is, I think we need depth anyway. So I think if you get rid of 9, we probably need 13. So I wouldn't get rid of that many. That feels like a bad idea. Better was a beast in Serie A, and I do believe if you give him proper game time, he'll play plenty for us. I also agree. Like he's got a decent like return rate. It's pretty damn good. I think it was about 100. So think first season after promotion. We had Rodrigo, who was 27. Rafinha was 18. That brings up to 45. Koch and Llorente, I think, added up to about 30. So that's 75. I'm going to go transfer marked. There will be names that I'm forgetting here. I don't want to count Harrison from when we signed him because that wasn't a change to the squad. Leeds United, and then we'll look at all-time transfers. Don't you love when your neighbour loves incredibly loud, bassy speakers? What an adventure. Stay for as long as you don't sign players from the Austrian Bundesliga. I think as long as you don't sign players that are for one manager's system and don't work in anyone else's. Like, there was no one that was going to turn that squad into good players. I think Farke's also worked as a technical director before, so his input will be useful. It absolutely will be, yeah. Right, let's have a look. Promotion season. Rodrigo, technically Jean-Kevin Augustin, but I'm not going to count that because you just don't really. I forgot about Helder Costa. So that brings up to about 88. Melier for 6.5, so that's 94-ish. And Joffy for 1. And that's in euros. So 95 million euros. I'm not going to do that maths. I'm just going to ask Google, actually. Euros to pounds. So if we say 95 euros, admittedly this is in today's, about 80 million-ish. So I think we'll likely, because we'll have inflation in the football transfer market anyway, I think we'll spend a decent amount. It'll be fine. Could this couple some of our transfer plans with insider info? I don't believe so. I believe they'll be very, very sued, and I think that would be a horrible idea for them. Main thrust theory is that we keep most of the team intact and use for depth, and that we sweep the best out of our contract players, keep Aronson per growth for squad. Yeah, everyone's saying that we need to get rid of players that won't start in the Premier League. You need substitutes. Like, you need squad depth. That's how this works. But I can't remember. It was someone who was promoted. Might be Adam Underwood. I know the name. Admittedly, I do also know the name from Football Manager, but I think he might have taken on the role. I'm not certain. And Caesar would be a good show. I'm going to get through some of the remaining comments and do a very, very quick questions cornery bit, and then probably call the stream for that, by the way. If we spend 100 million, will we likely have a bottom 3 squad in terms of quality? I think we'll be fine. I don't think I am underestimating what's required. I think you look at the squads that came up last season and you look at Southampton and you think they barely got out of the Championship in the first place. They did not have a strong squad. You look at Leicester and you think, well, cool, but they instantly lost Kane and Dewsbury Hall and their manager. And you look at Ipswich and think, well, they've reinforced with championship players. They built wrong. And if we build right, we'll be fine. I genuinely think this is okay. At least that's where I'm sitting. Do Leeds need a 10? I believe so. I think our system relies a bit on one. Too many odds. That's not from me. That's from YouTube. I've got YouTube Auto doing it. But I can rejig it. Is everyone else having that issue? I will mess with the frequency. That should help. But if that's a thing for other people, please let me know and I will try to fix. We can't hear it, look at us. Yeah, I can feel it in my feet, but you can't hear it. Could you just Thames Gordon back the PL? Maybe. Ooh, perhaps. Underwood. Okay, cool. You set right. Okay. Let's just take a moment. Let's just take a moment, and we will compare between your version of reality and the version of reality that has facts in it. Okay. Let's have a look at championship stats. Is it squad playing time? Okay, so Leeds United used 202 substitutions this season. Sunderland used 140. Coventry used 168. Burnley used 169. The only team that were in the playoffs, I believe, that used more substitutions than us, and they only used 10 more than us across an entire season, was Sheffield United. He uses substitutes. And in addition to that, we had, I think, the most goals from substitutes in the entire league this season, which ain't a bad spot to be in. It's a pretty good place to be. I've seen the baseball movie Moneyball, but yes, it's the specific phrase in it is like he gets on base, he gets the job done. Like you're building something in the aggregate rather than just the superstar, which I really like. It's quite good. Most of our players will go up in the Prem as long as we have quality kick positions. I think we do. Thank you for letting me know. Not had an ad since a moment, but to start with, I got a lot more than usual. That's not a me thing, but I'll keep an eye on it for future streams. That's a very weird one. Feeling good about us in the Prem. It'd be nice. I can feel like a 13th. I don't know why I'm feeling that confident, but I'm feeling like 13th. Yes, I believe so. Any reason for changing tact on longer lives? Did you do? No, that's coming tomorrow. Because various work things popped up. I'll schedule that immediately after the stream, I think, actually. So I've definitely got it down. I don't know, really. Just sometimes, like, I'm feeling a bit more chatty, sometimes I'm not. I guess it sort of depends on where my brain is at that moment. Like, a lot of the time I will lean towards a shorter stream just because, like, I'm not feeling too chatty. But recently I've been sort of, let's have a natter, let's have a chat, let's have a good time. Can't count the games where he sends out 5 attacking subs at once. Okay. But you said that he doesn't use subs. But now you're saying that he uses attacking subs too much. Yeah, like, pick a lane. If you're going to complain about something, at least complain about something consistently, rather than complaining about something and then something that is the polar opposite. It makes it tough. Late and predictable, that's down to game state. I think a lot of that comes down to, like, it's better for fitness management. If a player knows that they are going to be playing for exactly 70 minutes, they don't need to keep anything in the tank. They can just play. They don't need to think, well, I got to look after myself in this one. It helps. Where exactly is your brain? I don't know. My guess is somewhere in Scandinavia, but I've not seen it in a while. So, sorry about that one. Yeah. Occasionally I pick up Norwegian TV and I just, it's so confusing. Then from the square ball has got you a contact at calendar and look north. How do you mean? Because I've not talked to Dan about that, but I can do. Maybe during the charity walk. I don't know. But I'm planning on reaching out to various people about the charity match either way. I'd advise them to not use overlapping fullbacks in the Prem, but get eaten alive on the counter. I don't think we would, because I think our way of dealing with it is you've got one fullback doing the overlap, and one of your central midfielders drops into cover anyway, which means that you've always got someone there. It's just you're providing a little bit more width, which I think is always a good thing. Two players I really don't want to Sterling about it. Yeah, they're both in the sort of slightly past it. There's a reason they're going for free territory, and I wouldn't want us to do those contracts. Be a bad move. Yeah, scoring more in the last 10 minutes than any other team. It worked. Anyway. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the stream roughly there, because I am on the tired side right now. And I believe I've covered all the sort of transfer strategy bits and bobs. I've got a video coming out at 7 AM for anyone that isn't a member. For anyone that is a member, that is available now. I'll get Leeds 101 scheduled for tomorrow. I believe at noon is the plan. So hop in over there. That'd be great. And Ciso is a very, very good player. I wouldn't mind having him at all. But it's just about whether or not he fits the system. I've not really watched enough of him. And yeah, I've not really got much more to add other than that. So hopefully see you tomorrow lunchtime. If you've not yet, pop a like on the stream. It's always massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're not yet. Even become a channel member. Is Joe streaming? Because if so, I will do a pigeon raid. He is. Oh ho ho. Right, let's. What we're going to do is we're going to go over to Joe's channel. And we're going to acknowledge who we are. We're going to acknowledge that we do like things a little bit too much. When we're happy, we do actually be happy. We are happy clappers, but we are also pigeons, and we are also doing a raid. Thus far, it's going to be the Happy Clapper Pigeon raid. And let's get that spammed up throughout Joe's chat. And yeah, be much appreciated. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end the stream there. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, pop a like on it, all that fun stuff. And I will see you later. Toodaloo.